Greetings, Naga. I am Command Execute, and this is the very first of the how-to videos. Today we're going to be covering combat overviews. If you don't know what an overview is, you're a horrible human being, and if you don't know who I am, you're even worse. Okay, so let's get started. First off, you're going to notice that my overview is just a little bit different from the average person's overview. Now, it's very stretched out because I'm just want to demonstrate to you, but you should notice that I have two columns that a lot of newer players don't, and even some veterans don't. Those columns would be velocity and transversal. So I'm going to explain to you how to use them, how useful they are, and how to add them and move them around, and then how to make use of them in combat. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to see your overview. You're going to have this little box made up of these white hashes. You're going to press it. You're going to go to Open Overview Settings. Inside of Overview Settings, you're going to go to the Columns tab. You're going to notice that you have a lot of beautiful little columns here, right? You're going to want to check the velocity, and you're going to want to check the transversal. This will add them to your overview. Now, to move them around, you can't do this on your overview. To move these columns around, what you have to do is you have to move them here, inside of the column. As you'll see, velocity is now sorted first. And let's put that there, above there, and there, just because, I don't know, maybe I have OCD or some shit. Okay, so, Nico, can you please stay to clip? Thanks. You're going to notice that I have Klaus next to me in a buzzard. Why? Because he's, I don't know, scanning or some shit. That's not important. You're going to notice that he's completely stationary to me. Let's look at his ship real quick. You're going to notice that his ship is completely stationary and immobile. Now, my first tab, velocity, shows me the velocity, the speed of ships, right? So if I started going 272 meters a second, or 297 now that I move my hand, his velocity tab would show my exact speed. Not the speed relative to him, but my actual speed. Transversal is a little bit different, and that's really the important one. Transversal allows you to see someone's, not angular velocity to you, but their transversal velocity. And what that means, it's their speed relative to you in a circular orbit. Someone with a low transversal has a much easier time of hitting, so if someone has a lower transversal, you can hit them much more effectively. And if they have a higher transversal, it becomes very, very hard for medium and large turns to track that person, which is why frigates are very hard to kill in battleships. So I have some turrets in this random gun. They're laser turrets. If you open them up and you go to Attributes, you're going to see one attribute that says Tracking Speed / Accuracy, and you're going to see a value in radians per second, right? And what that is it shows you how fast your turrets, let me reset my camera here real quick when I find the button. Look at my ship. That's how fast your turrets, like these here, are able to rotate around a target. And that's very good, for hitting things. So right now he's stationary, and if I were to shoot him, obviously I'd hit him. Now I'm going to start moving in a direction. Nico, can you please fly in the same direction as me real quick? Now you're going to see that him flying in the same general direction as my ship here means that his transversal is very low relative to me. As you're going to see, it's 46, 43. He's not moving in any sort of pattern or way that makes it really hard for me to hit him. Nico, can you orbit me at 5,000, please? With your prop mod on. So Nico's going to start orbiting me here in a second with his prop mod on, and you're going to see that his transversal to me, as is already climbing, is getting higher and higher and higher. This is very important. You're going to notice the transversal at this point actually starts to switch from his velocity to me. Transversal is affected actually by the radius that you orbit someone. The closer you are, the higher transversal is going to be. So for example, if he was orbiting at 1,000, it would be far higher than it is. That makes him really, really hard to hit. Not so much in this ship because it has a high tracking, but in ships in general. So that's pretty much everything we have to cover, and I hope it kind of sort of makes sense. Explains what these two things do and how they're useful. Velocity is usually used for wiping people down and stuff like that, but it's nice to know how fast a ship is going relative to your own, so you'll know whether you can catch them. And transversal is good for picking targets that you can hit or do good damage on, because what happens is targets with lower transversal take more damage when you hit them. Something important to keep in mind. So that's it for the first video, guys. Little example and whatnot, and with any luck, that'll make you a slightly more effective combat pilot. So I'll see you for the second video. Thanks for watching, guys.